B-Team, we're back, and another special guest. We have our buddy from the Philadelphia Union, number 2, Kyle Tucker. Let's go. Kyle, thanks again for coming on. We appreciate it. I will say at the start, Colin did say Kyle Tucker, and I thought of the outfielder from the Astros. Do you get that a lot at all? I mean, did they just give you crap like, oh, shouldn't you be playing baseball or something?
Yeah, I get that. I get that every so often. It's funny. I still remember the day he got drafted. I think I was in like middle school at the time when he got drafted, and like all my friends in middle school who were into baseball were like tagging me, like, "Oh, yo, it's you, it's you." And now it's kind of wild. Like I even remember when I signed for Union 2, like a couple comments said something about like me being a baseball player, which is pretty funny. Obviously, I think he's a lot more famous than I am. So
For now.
Yeah.
That's funny though, 'cause one of our good friends, his name's Adam Peters, and the GM of the Redskins, or sorry, not the R words, the football team, the Commanders, is Adam Peters. So every time that guy like would float around the league, all of us would be, oh, congrats, bud, you got a little promotion, well done.
Just text him a random like, congratulations, like you did it. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, you did it, man. Like, you just got to keep it going. It's like, I didn't know what I did. I'm like, dude, you made it, bro. You made it. Like, you did it. And just not even explain why we're congratulating him. Just get him super confused.
Yes.
It always works.
that's hilarious. It was the opposite for me last year. When the Phillies and the Astros were playing in the World Series, I was getting a ton of hate, especially I think was it game 1 when he went off, like
Yeah.
I think he hit like 2 home runs or something, and everybody was just like, dude, come on, man, like what are you doing? I'm like, I got nothing to do with it.
Like, it's not me, it's him. You got the wrong guy. No, that's awesome. No, but first preseason, right? When'd you guys get back?
Yeah, so we just got back on Saturday night, so two days ago, really. But yeah, first true preseason with the team because I joined halfway through last year. So yeah, it was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, down in Clearwater, it's pretty nice down there. The weather's a lot better than up here, so it was nice to get down there and play in some shorts and some short sleeves for sure.
Yeah, you missed like all the snow. You missed all the snow, probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, we still got hit with some, like a month ago. But yeah, the 2 snowstorms that we just had, I missed both of them. So
It's not bad.
that was nice. It was definitely pretty funny, like getting some texts from friends here saying like, "Oh, we got a snowstorm," and I'm sending pictures back on the beach or out looking over the water. It was pretty cool.
No, but what were your thoughts on first preseason though? Tough. Think you did well?
Yeah. I think overall, I played pretty well. Obviously, it was just good to get there. It's good to kind of be with the group for a long, extended time, kind of together. Especially, a lot of our group spend a lot of time together already because they're all kind of young still and go to the YC school there, so they get to hang out all the time. So it was nice for me to kind of be around that group and get to know everybody even more. Obviously, I've gotten to know them over the last 6 months, but when you're living around everybody and eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner with everybody every day, you get to learn a little bit more about everyone. And then on the field, I think we had some positives during the preseason and we had some things that didn't go our way that we're going to learn from and going to improve. But yeah, it's just an awesome experience. I think it was a lot of work, and I was kind of telling some of my friends like, yeah, like it's been tough. It's been we've had some double days. We've done some work, but a hard day playing soccer is a lot better than a hard day at the desk. So
100%.
And that's what I kind of always say. So yeah, it's been really fun so far.
Good. Yeah, and last question really with the preseason for me is, Jim Curtin and his teams are high intensity, really work for the guy next to you. Was there like a, I don't know if I would say a learning curve, but what should I say? Was it a tough transition working into maybe his type of preseason compared to what you've done before?
Yeah, so I would say, yeah, from top to bottom, Union, we try to play the same way. We try to play the same way that the first team does. So yeah, it requires a lot of running and a lot of work. And yeah, we definitely work very hard during preseason. Luckily, I've kind of gotten used to our system and the way we play and used to running, working hard. And I feel like I've always been that type of player where I'm always willing to run for the team and do a little extra for the guy next to me. So yeah, the transition, I would say it was more of a transition when I first came in to now, like in preseason. Yeah, it was difficult because we're just putting a lot of work on the legs, but it was the same as we've been playing last year, and it's the same way we're going to continue to play. That's the way we play, and obviously I like it. I'm embracing it, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, like both of us do. Blaze, he liked his work for the guy next to you, make sure we do our sprints across the field mentality, and so I'm sure that helped you in some sense going into it. But no, Mike, you got anything?
I do. So I guess to kind of go off that question, we talk about the transition from Drexel, obviously, and then into Philadelphia Union. What were some things that you like? And I don't know if it's kind of the same question but some things that were different from how you maybe prepared or how you were training with Drexel, obviously, and then now going into now playing with the Union. Is there some things that are like a big difference to you, or is it kind of just similar in a way?
Yeah, I think obviously I would say the biggest difference, just like any team that you kind of go into, like a new team, you've got to kind of prove yourself. So by my last year, definitely my last 2, 3 years at Drexel, I think I proved myself as a player and a leader, and you know, all my teammates trusted me, and I trusted all my teammates because I'd played with them for a good span of 3 or 4 years, most of them. So then going into a new team, it's just about like earning that trust again, getting to know guys, and you're starting with a clean slate. You want to prove yourself to everybody. But in terms of transition, I would say it's a pro environment, so it's the stakes are just a little bit higher. Obviously, in at Drexel, like the stakes are high. You go in and you only have 3 months to really prove yourself out of the 12 months a year with the college season. But I mean, it's still the same where I came in and I only had about 3 months to kind of get into the squad before the season was over because I came halfway through. So that was sort of similar for me. So I think there wasn't a crazy big difference, but like any team, you want to earn your stripes, kind of. I would say, and yeah, that would be the biggest thing coming into the Union too.
Yeah, and I'm sure having Dono there with you probably brought a little bit of comfort as you initially started last summer. I mean, Drexel is now just a Union feeder program, so I don't know who's coming next, but no, I'm sure that actually played a good side of the transition for you, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at him and that's where I want to be. Like he was able to prove himself with Union 2 and make his way up, and obviously that's kind of what I want to do as well. So it definitely helped having him there, and just having a friend there, a familiar face, obviously helps as well. Just someone to talk to you, someone to explain new drills, or explain different ways that we like to press, or like, hey, like Dono in this situation, like what should we do? He's there to answer those questions. So he's definitely helped. But obviously, like now, I actually don't see Dono all that much, just because he's with the first team doing his thing, and I'm with Union too. That there came a point where I'd only see him on game day last year, and we'll see if he's playing with us this year. But I might not really see him at all this year, so we'll see.
Nah, you never know. Maybe you'll go join him.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah. So that actually kind of leads me into my next question, where I know sometimes through the youth ranks, they kind of give players do this, like, here's your process that we're looking to see. Did the Union give you kind of like a process, or they talk to you about a process of, we want to see you do this, this, and this will get you towards those steps of getting to the first team?
Yeah. I would say at the end of our year meeting, that was a really good time for, I think, all the players to kind of discuss with the coaches, where they stand, what they need to do to improve, and kind of how my conversation went with the coaches. The coach said, look, if you're any player on Union 2, they're there because we see a path for them to get to the first team. Like, you wouldn't be playing on a Union 2, or really, I think, any MLS Next pro team if they don't see you potentially building your way up to the first team. And then we kind of went over things that I need to improve. So for me, like, it's big for me to improve, like, physically, in terms of one, just my overall athleticism and speed, but also two, like, change of direction, braking, and stopping. Like, those things I think are holding me back right now, and those things were big things that I worked on in the off season and will continue to work on this year, like, throughout the year.
Gotcha. No, that's good, Mike.
Yeah. So I guess I want to get into your position as well. So I was reading a little bit of an article on the website saying that you were a midfielder, box to box. Would you consider that one of the tougher positions to play, maybe besides goalkeeper? And I know you just said kind of what you struggle with.
Mike, let's not give goalkeepers this praise here. Come on.
That's a tough position.
All right, go ahead.
That is a tough position. But okay, you kind of just said what you kind of need to work on, but what are some things, I guess, that are in your position that you find challenging but you're good at in a way?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I think every player, whatever position they play, they'll say, like, oh, that's the hardest position, or that position, the best players play there. So I think it's no different. Like as a midfielder, I always think, like, yeah, that's the best position to play, and I think the best players play in the midfield. But yeah, I think what I bring, one, obviously, as a midfielder, you have to do an incredible amount of running on both sides of the ball, both getting forward, getting into the box, helping your forwards out, but then also defensively, in terms of pressing, in terms of recovering. Yeah, it's a ton of running that you have to do. And then I would say big for me is my passing, ability to play in tight spaces, and also, play balls in behind, good passes in behind. And then defensively, just my work defensively is a big aspect, especially for the Union. The way we like to play is, we like to press defensively, and that requires a lot of good defensive work from your midfielders as well. So I think those are all things that I bring as a midfielder.
You got anything? Yeah. Okay, I definitely want to ask this. So I watched the video on YouTube. I guess Drexel posted it. It was during COVID. And you, by the way, you did phenomenal camera work. I was laughing. I thought it was great. It was a very underrated thing I saw. But your grandpa built you like a little indoor, like, training ground in your basement. Can you just explain a little bit about that, and like how many hours you've put down there?
Yeah, I want to first say that's awesome that you found that video, because like I I don't know how deep that is on YouTube. Maybe if you look my name up, maybe it's right there. But yeah, I completely forgot that I made that video for Drexel over COVID. But yeah, that basement. I mean, the amount of hours I spent in it, like I can't even tell you.
It's great, by the way. It is phenomenal.
Yeah. Obviously, so it wasn't just for me. I have 3 siblings as well, and 2 of them also played soccer throughout high school. So we all kind of trained down there. But I would say I definitely used it the most. And it was just like a fun area to play. And we had always played down there without the little turf area. And I think they just my pop-up, he's a great builder, and they were like, this would be awesome. Just it's a great space for it. It was pretty easy. Like I think he did it in like 1 or 2 days. Like very, very simple. At least for him, probably not for me to make it. But yeah, I mean, I've spent so many hours down there, especially in the winters. Obviously in Pennsylvania, you get some harsh winters sometimes, and training, especially when you're, from the age of, I don't know, 8 to 14, a lot of the training in the winter kind of slows down. And I feel like that's when I always like improved the most, was when our kind of team training slowed down. And then I was just training every night in the basement. Luckily, my dad's a pretty good coach. One of the best I've had, I would say. So that obviously helped me as well, like training with him every night. So yeah, I mean, the amount of hours that I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I've probably spent more time there than anywhere else, but obviously it's made me the player I am today. So I wouldn't take it for anything.
Did you find it difficult during COVID? Because obviously you're not with the team at all. You're all just away doing your own thing. Did you find it hard to kind of stay focused or stay consistent in a way? Because I remember when I was watching, you guys had some spreadsheet and you guys would compare all your numbers where you're doing your workouts and your running times and whatnot. So I guess it kind of got me through how it was, and how did you stay consistent throughout that time?
Yeah, that's a funny reminder. That spreadsheet, I don't think it lasted too long.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember the whole team doing that for too long. But for me, obviously COVID was a tough time for a lot of people, but I'm fortunate enough to say like that time was really, really good for me. It gave me the time to kind of work on my craft like on my own. And I would say without that time off, I don't think I'd be the player that I am today. Where I was just able to train a lot on my own. I think I improved physically during that time. Like I was lifting pretty much every day, which before that, I really didn't have a crazy big lift program. And I think I got stronger over that time. And Colin was doing this at the time as well, playing Westchester with Blaze's team during that time. Really, I think transformed my game. Because before that at Drexel, I was an on and off starter, mainly coming off the bench, where after really that COVID break, where I was able to both improve physically, technically, and I was getting a lot of games with Westchester, I came back in at Drexel, and I really, hit the ground running. And I think without that, my career path at Drexel could have looked a lot differently. So yeah, although it was tough for a lot of people, COVID was actually a very good time for me. And obviously having, the facility I have in my basement helped me a ton to do that. So yeah, it ended up being really good time for me in terms of improvement overall.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought up the Westchester trainings, because during that time, all of us really didn't have a team to go play with because it was COVID. But Blaze had all those trainings. We were training like 4 times a week from, I felt like 8 to midnight most nights. And I feel like all of us, because, it was COVID, you were stuck inside all day. those sessions got so competitive and so good. Like, they kind of built the foundation for some of those really good Westchester teams that we had over those last couple years before, obviously, me, Leon, you, the Bradleys, Luca, all kind of left that team. But those sessions were fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the team. I mean, I couldn't even go through everybody.
Yeah, like Levi.
But there were just
I know I'm leaving probably 40 guys off this list.
Yeah, there were so many great players. Like, I remember even Dre Bartaszynski,
Yep.
I think his last name is.
Yep.
And he was so good to me I was a sophomore in college, and I saw this guy who I think was just out of college, and I saw the way he played, and I was like, that's how I want to play. That's how I want to be in 3 years, you know? Yeah. So it was great. Like, also just like looking up to guys who were, you know, 3 or 4 years ahead of me, seeing, you know, those great players, like how good they were, and being in that environment obviously made me a whole lot better as well. So yeah, I mean, I can't say enough good things about Westchester, and especially that time, but really all times at Westchester. I think it just continues to produce great talents, and every year, you know, you get more guys in there who are, as Blaze says, talent develops talent. So, you know, the more that come in, the better, you know, so.
Yeah, and at times, like, if you look at it from right now, working our way back, we probably had 2 full 11s on that field that would eventually play a professional game and, like, be in a professional system. Like, that's insane. I don't think there's many teams in the country that are able to say that at that level.
Yeah, I think it's very insane. And I think obviously Westchester gets a lot of credit, but I still don't think Westchester gets enough credit as it deserves, and Blaze especially. Because, like you said, I mean, there were so many guys who went on to play professionally, and even some guys who I think could have, whether they just decided, you know, they got a great job and they went forward with that. But I think we had a ton more talent there that could have played professionally if they really wanted to, or if different circumstances happened. But the amount of quality in that team during COVID was insane.
Like, if you didn't show up with your top game, you were just getting embarrassed that day. You were getting left behind.
Yeah.
No, it was awesome. But do you have anything else? All right, I need to ask this question. So I think Mike might have found it. When's the first game?
The first official game is March 17th.
Okay. And that's the one against Toronto?
Yeah.
Right,
that's at home.
Cool. Can, like, anyone go to those games?
Yeah.
All right.
So
go ahead.
The tickets are pretty easy to purchase. Like, I think if anybody watching this, if you go to PhiladelphiaUnion.com or something like that, and you just click on Union 2, or literally if you just type into Google Union 2 tickets, like, they should come up. There should be a link to that. But it also, you can just purchase the tickets there, I'm pretty sure, as well.
Yeah.
And
it's all the games are at the stadium now, right?
Yeah. So at least this year, I believe every game should be at the stadium. So it's a pretty cool environment. And we've got like our own little Sons of Ben section too. Dude, I forget what they call themselves.
We out.
They just came out with an official name. I forget what they call themselves, but I'll have to look it up and I'll have to tell you guys.
All right.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. We've got like a good section where I think section like 102 they stand in and they bang the drums, and yeah, they're pretty cool. So yeah, you guys should definitely come. It's pretty cool games.
No, we'll be down, because we were saying like we gotta go to one of these games, but we couldn't find the schedule at first. So yeah, we'll be down at one. Maybe we'll get to that one.
March 17th.
Yeah.
Toronto FC.
Toronto FC.
I haven't been to a soccer game yet besides his at Westchester. I have to get to one, at least for like Union 1 or 2. Doesn't matter. Gotta see some soccer.
Yeah, you gotta go. The environment of soccer, like, obviously every sport I think has its own unique environment. Mm-hmm. Obviously playing soccer my whole life, I love the environment at soccer games, and you know, the American soccer environment definitely brings something different too. Like I love the Sons of Ben, all their chants, the drums banging. It's pretty cool. So
No, definitely. You got anything else?
Yeah, man.
All right, so last question here. I'm pretty sure when I say this, like you're a Birds fan, Phillies fan, Flyers fan.
Yeah.
So this is my last question. As a person that only supports the Sixers and the Flyers in Philadelphia, will the Union be the first team in Philadelphia to get over the hump since the Eagles Super Bowl win?
Well, let's hope the Sixers and the Flyers can do it before us. But if not them, I think are the Phillies before us? Maybe the Phils.
Phillies might be a week or two before you guys. I think the World
So
Series
yeah,
might be a
maybe
little
it's just the year of Philadelphia this year. Maybe all the suffering that we've had, this is the year that we all win it. But yeah, if those guys don't pull it off, then it will be the Union for sure.
It is.
I like that. I can get behind that.
Me too.
Flyers look damn good though.
Yeah, they've been on fire lately, so hopefully they can keep the run going. So we'll see.
Yeah. But hey, if Mike doesn't have anything, I don't have anything else. Dude, thank you for coming on. That was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys. This was a fun time.
Yeah, for sure. And then we'll see you at a game. Maybe that one. I'll let you know.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kyle. Hey, thanks for coming on, man.